Hi everyone. We can have faith the size of a mustard seed or faith that moves mountains. The point is, our faith should always be growing, not stagnant. If we're not moving ahead, we're moving backward. In Matthew chapter 17, verses 17 through 20, Jesus rebuked the disciples who could not heal the demon-possessed boy with seizures.
"Bring the boy here to me." Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of the boy, and he was healed at that moment. Then the disciples came to Jesus in private and asked, "Why couldn't we drive it out?" He replied, "Because you have so little faith. Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you."
My personal faith was slow growing at the start. In fact, I took over 20 years off after a setback. I was wayward, selfish, and fulfilled my own desires. Instead of putting my faith in God, I put it in myself, thinking I knew best. Boy, was I wrong. In fact, I became pretty desperate. But it took me a long time to figure out how much I missed and needed God in my life.
Hebrews chapter 11, verses 1 and 6 says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him."
Faith is foundational. Faith in God gives you strength. By that I mean the inner resolve to withstand turmoil. Faith gives you courage. Courage and strength aren't the same things, even though they are often seen together. Courage is the ability to do what frightens us, to act on our beliefs despite threats of danger, to show strength in the face of grief or pain. Courage, like strength, comes directly from our faith in God.
Isaiah chapter 12, verse 2 says, "Surely God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. The Lord himself is my strength and my defense. He has become my salvation."
And third, faith in God provides stability. Faith in God is what allows us to experience stability in the middle of instability. When life feels out of control, we can take comfort in knowing that God is in control.
Isaiah chapter 26, verses 3 and 4 says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord himself is the rock eternal."
2 weeks ago, we talked about an even if he doesn't kind of faith. Today, I'd like to talk about a nevertheless kind of faith.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 39 says of Jesus before his death, "He went a little farther and fell on his face and prayed, saying, 'O my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will.'" And Luke chapter 5, verse 5 says, speaking of Christ's instruction to move the fishing net to the other side of the boat, "But Simon answered and said to him, 'Master, we have toiled all night and caught nothing. Nevertheless, at your word, I will let down the net.'"
When we submit our will to his, knowing that he will work out all things for the good of those who love him, it's a nevertheless kind of faith. We act on faith because we trust in his ways, which are far above our own understanding. He knows the circumstances, he knows what we need, and he knows the future. So even when things don't make sense to us, we can still act in faith, and we can boldly pray, "Nevertheless, at your word, I will trust you, God."
That's right, because Romans chapter 8, verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." And Isaiah chapter 55, verses 8 and 9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts."
I'm putting my hope and trust in the Lord, who can give me perfect peace. My faith is foundational to my walk. I pray that you too will find perfect peace in the protective power of our Creator and Savior. We hope you have a blessed week.